Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. We are with Tamilee, Buns of Steel. Tamilee Webb, MA, is America's most trusted fitness instructor. Her no-hype, down-to-earth attitude has endeared her to millions of fans worldwide. Tamilee is best known as the star of the famous Buns of Steel trademarked and Abs of Steel trademarked fitness videos. Combined sales of Tamilee's videos are over 14 million units. Besides repeatedly topping the Billboard video sales charts, Tamilee has published 4 best-selling books. The original Rubber Band Workout, sold in 6 countries and 5 languages, Step Up Fitness, Workouts for Dummies, and Defy Gravity Workout. That sounds good. I think I might want to try that. Tamilee truly brings fitness home. She appeared daily on Fit TV, previously known as Health Network Channel. She was the host of ESPN's Fitness Pros series and consulted for Fox Sport Body Squad fitness shows. Her internet website, TamileeWebb.com, is leading the fitness field with quality content, valuable services, and premium products, offering both DVDs and digital downloads. Tamilee's most recent accomplishment was her induction into the Fitness Hall of Fame. 2008, alongside fitness greats Kathy Smith, Judy Massett, Jack LaLanne, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jane Fonda, and Joe Weider. With over 65 products to her name, Tamilee continues to mentor, manage, and produce for other fitness professionals and influencers. She motivates millions with her professional speaking and coaching services. Welcome, Tamilee, to the show.
It's nice to be here, Linda. Thanks for inviting me. I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to have you here. And when I was reading about the fact that you were a fitness pro, it brought up memories. I mean, because I know Pepper Vaughn personally. He was my first choreographer for fitness routine because I've been competing ever since. I started in my 40s.
That's great.
We'll now be 55 in 2 weeks.
Oh, well, happy birthday. We're September babies.
Thank you. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm September.
So when is your birthday?
Mine's the 28th, so I'm a Libra, but still September.
That's right. Yeah. So what's the attributes of being a Libra? I have no idea.
Oh, we're always trying to find balance. We're balancing everything, yin and yang. You were just love and beauty and balance.
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I may have a little bit of that in me because I feel like I'm always trying to balance a lot of different things. And so what was your time like as an ESPN Fitness Pro?
Oh my gosh.
Great celebrity.
It was awesome. It was so memorable. I mean, having a group like Pepper Vaughn and Donna Richardson and Tracy York. I mean, we just had. It was fun. It was a lot of work. I think we ended up doing like sometimes 10 shows a day. And so you can imagine all the sweat and leotards that we went through. And then we'd have meetings at night of who's doing what the next day. And I think we did this for a week or 2 weeks, but it was really intense, but a great, great time in my life.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but whenever you do like a DVD or you're on camera or maybe even a shoot, you are more sore.
Yeah, that's so true.
You do more. You are
right.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you're intense, and then you have to do. I mean, we would never do 10 shows a day or 10 workouts, right? But on production, that's what you do.
Yeah. So it probably got you in pretty. I mean, if you were already in amazing shape, but even better shape, I would think.
Well, I think we're all definitely, talking about that. What I learned immediately was if you looked at us 3 girls, so Donna and Tracy and myself, I'm built very, very different than the 2 of them. And I'm built more with hips and a mesomorph, where they were like ectomorph mesos. So they're really thin. They have really narrow hips. And not to say one is better than the other at all. It's just that there was a diversity of different body types. And I think that's important for women to see, because sometimes women can relate a little bit more with somebody that's built like them than somebody that's not even close to being built like them. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It just, who do you relate to? And I thought that was very good of ESPN by putting different body types and styles on there.
Oh yeah, that is true, because it's more about what your audience can see themselves doing. And if they look at this body type that they think they could never achieve, they're going to be less likely to tune in and think that it's doable for them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So being on ESPN, was that kind of, how did you get started with this whole Buns of Steel?
Honestly, a lot of people don't know the real story of Buns of Steel, but I've always been into fitness, and I got my master's degree in exercise science. And from there, I went into teaching aerobic dance, which I think most of us started out with. And I thought, gosh, I could reach a lot more people if I was doing video. But how do you do a video? And the videos that were out there were the Jane Fondas, the Judy Missits.
I started with Jane.
Yeah, and Kathy Smith. And so I'm one of those that you don't get what you don't ask. So I reached out to them, and I reached out to Kathy, and she had gotten back to me, and she is still today one of my mentors, because even though, again, we're built completely different, we're still in the same fitness industry, but there's something about women coming together and helping each other. It's not about this is mine and this is yours, or it's competitive. I don't see things that way. And she was very generous and guiding me. So I would have to say, from the time that I thought I really want to do videos and the time that I actually did it was probably 10 years. So I had done a video. Most people probably don't even know. My very first video was with Dr. Ulene. Do you remember him? He was the doctor on the NBC Today show. He had a mustache. He kind of looked like Groucho Marx.
I'll have to look him up, because you are my era.
And I was asked to audition for a video that he was putting together for ACOG. And so I auditioned and I got it, and it was called Balanced Fitness. And it was very, very structured. So it was aerobics with muscle conditioning. It was for women after they had their babies and getting back in shape. And so I did that video, and then he asked me to do a second one, which was my rubber band one. And I thought, okay, I did two, and I liked it. I liked the production part of it, wanted to get back out there. And then a friend of mine, you must know Spry Products back in the day was
absolutely.
by Steve Block.
Yes.
So Steve Block became like my big brother. And he said, you know what? I have a friend that's shooting a video for Buns of Steel. And I'm like, wow, that's a great name. And he recommended me, and I went and auditioned, and I got it. So what people think is I created Buns of Steel. I did not. The actual creator is a guy named Greg Smithy. And then it did really well, except for they wanted a woman image instead of a man's image, because they thought they could attract more. So I said, okay, well, if you use my body, you can't use a model or something. I really want it to be, mine. And so they said, sure. So I did Buns of Steel, and I was only supposed to do one. And then they came back and said, would you do Abs of Steel? And I did Abs of Steel, and it just kept rolling on, and I have 22 to my name.
And so you made sure that your name was on the cover,
Always.
Which I thought was brilliant.
Always.
Because, you know what? A lot of us sometimes are not brave enough to ask for what we want, but I think you're never going to get it if you don't ask for it.
I always believe in you don't get what you don't ask for. And what's the worst thing? They say no.
Right.
But so now, anytime I do anything, my name has to be attached to it. So I'm not the creator, but I became the brand. I became the brand because that's what people saw by having my name and my body attached to the brand itself.
I
So
love that.
I'm very proud to say, you know, I was fortunate enough to be a part of this brand and help it develop, and made a lot of millionaires that have retired since then. But it's one of those things that if I can tell people who are starting out, no matter what you do, even if you didn't create it, make sure that your name is attached to the brand, that your name is always in with what you're doing, and always do the very best job you can. Because if you do, they're going to come back, or somebody else is going to come to you and give you that opportunity.
Wow. Yeah, I love that completely. And it's so iconic. I mean, I can't think of how many times you're like, oh, you have buns of steel. I mean, it's like this phrase that's carried down over time. And I
Yeah.
cannot believe how many DVDs, you know, how many books, all of that. It just stemmed from that one idea. And did you ever see yourself doing all this? I mean, how did this just like take off? Was it like overnight or?
Well, no, I think it's a progression. I did envision, or I manifested, yes, I want to do videos.
Okay, good.
Um, and and obviously I started doing videos and more. It was never to become famous. It
Yeah.
was, I knew that I could reach more people by means of video media than I could by just doing my classes. Though I never gave up my classes, it's just a means to reach more people, just as you're doing today. So now we have podcasts and we can reach more people. I mean, nowadays you can go on YouTube and get as many workouts as you want. Unfortunately, you got to know what you're looking for, because there's a lot
There's
of
so
stuff out
much
there that may not be right for you. So, you know, check out the backgrounds, check out the quality, you know, just, you got to do your homework.
Well, in the day, it was kind of like you were this fitness icon, as was Jane Fonda and Kathy Smith. And, you know, you had to hold this certain image. Did you feel pressure from holding that image? And if so, what did you do to maintain that image, and how have you evolved from that?
That's a great question, because it is one of those things where you feel like, if that's my image, I've always got to look like that. So I'd be grocery shopping and people would be following me around, seeing what I'd put in my grocery bag. And I am one of the most kind of home down girl. I grew up on a farm in Northern California, and I'll tell you, I love chocolate. I'm going to eat chocolate, and around holidays I eat pumpkin pie, and it's one of those things, like, I'm not like by the book, like, no, I can't do this, I can't do that. I just go with the flow. And there was a time, and it was probably in my early 40s, that my body started to change, because I went into perimenopausal. And that was very difficult, trying to find my body again. And when I learned that my hormones were the CEO of my body,
Yes,
I had
so
to change.
absolutely true.
Right, because now you're not really in control. You have to find other ways. And I did everything as natural as I could. I tried all kinds of things, and they would work for a little while, and then they didn't. And on that journey, I have to say to women, every journey is different. We're not all alike. We're just not. And so our journeys might be a little bit different. And what ended up working best for me was bioidenticals, and that kind of got me back on track. One of the books that I recommend for women is Outsmarting the Midlife Fat Cell by Deborah Waterhouse. And it's an older book, and I just love it. And she explains how our fat cells change as we're going through the changes. So yeah, we're going to change. You're always changing. Our cells are dying and rejuvenating, right? So we're constantly changing. But if you're fighting what the change is, it's going to be a terrible ride. You just kind of have to go with the flow and go, okay, I'm going to look into this and this and this, and finding healthy alternatives to it. But nowadays, like right now, I'm probably 10, 12 pounds away from where I feel comfortable. And I'm okay with it, because I know that I can get there, and it's not necessarily a pound thing. So I'm not saying I want to weigh this amount. I want to feel comfortable in my body, and I know what's comfortable for me. So right now it's a little bit heavier than what I want to be. I had broken my ankle in 3 places and had surgery and had a plate put in and some pens, and it's been a long recovery because I can't always do the exercises that I used to do.
I was listening to Petra's podcast where you talked about this was a tennis accident, or?
Oh, that was an older now.
Oh, okay.
That was another one.
Oh, okay.
That was where I ripped my hamstring. I mean, totally
gosh.
ripped it. And that was challenging. And then
this.
2 years later, last year, I fell off a stool. Note to self, no more stools. And it got caught on something and it just flipped it. And yeah, and it's been a recovery. And when things like that happen, I stop and take an evaluation of myself and what I'm not paying attention to and what my body wants me to pay attention to. So what it's done so far is opened me up to other ways of getting exercise. So I've been paddle boarding.
I love that.
I love paddle boarding, even though you standing up there for a while can aggravate it, but it's okay. So rowing, different activities that I can still get a workout that's not aggravating my ankle. So I'm not jogging anymore. I can still do some spins. I'm not doing a lot of impact because it's just not, it hasn't even been a year yet. So that's probably where a little bit of my weight came from, as well as I got a little depressed until I found my groove again and going, hey, this is a journey. This is a lesson I'm supposed to learn from this. So let's get on with it.
Well, I love that. And I know my father always used to say, life is an adjustment from birth to the grave.
Yes, isn't it?
Those who adjust do well. And so basically when we hit this age or you're starting to get older and your hormones, like you said, are in charge, living large, you have to adjust and find new ways. So you can't, it isn't one size fits all. It isn't what you've always done is always going to work. You have to really do your homework and your research on what's going to work for you. And like Tamilee said, bioidenticals. I know there's a lot of natural cures. In fact, I was watching, if you can get through all her videos, there's a lot. It's Menopause Barbie.
That's great. I have not referred to Barbie yet.
And she has quite the wealth of information on all kinds of natural things. But also there again, I would caution about getting into that confusion where it becomes overwhelmed. Yes. And so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I'm with you on the bioidentical train. How long have you been doing that? Are you still doing that?
Actually, am I still doing the bioidenticals?
Right.
Some. I've got some changes coming up, and because I have some friends that just said, I'm staying on it for life, and others that, it really depends. No, because of, the estrogen, and it's all again about a balance. So always check with your physician and see, what's best for you. But I think that it's tuning into your body. Our bodies are amazing. They are so freaking amazing that we don't even give it credit because we really are geniuses. We are, but we don't use it. I heard somebody say, and I do believe this, is that every drug that is out there, and there's so many, if you watch television, which I hardly watch television, and it's so disheartening to hear all of these drug companies pitching their thing, and the first 5 seconds is what it can do for you, and the other 55 seconds is all the bad stuff that the side effects. I'm like, then why would we put that in our bodies? But our bodies can generate and heal ourselves by good foods, by what we're thinking. Meditation is really a big part of my life now. I realize that I got to shut off all of this in the world. I love technology, but in order to be in tune with myself, I have to shut everything down and go within and know and feel. Like I had a pinched nerve just yesterday, the last 3 days. It was so bad. I couldn't even sleep. So I got up, I came to the sofa, I stacked up some pillows so that my legs were up, my knees were high, and then I put on a healing meditation And I listened to that, and all of a sudden I went to sleep. I had no pain. And I woke up and I'm like, wow, I got to sleep. And it's a mind, it's a visual, and it's a feeling. If you can get away from that pain, but we get so drawn in by what we see on television. The thing that I love that you're doing, Linda, is you're empowering women. You're bringing women together. You're saying, hey, we can be that much stronger by doing this, this, and this, coming together with our knowledge, with our inspirations, and what it is that we have to share with each other. Well, that's kind of what media does, but usually on the opposite side. Yeah, it's great to tell what's going on in the world, but if you keep nagging about something, we come together and then we make it bigger and bigger. If we're going to heal each other and heal our planet and heal everybody, we've got to think more of the positive side. And that is starting with yourself. Get in tune with you. It will tell you everything.
Absolutely. And just basically coming together, realizing that we're all in this together. We're all going through this. You're all going to go through either perimenopause, menopause. I mean, you know, every day on earth is a good day above ground, you know. So just making the most out of that and the most out of your friendships, and realizing that as women we can lift each other up and bring each other higher, and we understand each other better than anyone on the planet. So why not hone in and build this sisterhood of sweat together?
I love it. Good job.
Well, Tamilee, how did you get your name, Tamilee? Where did that come from?
I know, it's not my birth name. So my birth name is Tammy Marie, but I grew up, my father was from Oklahoma and my mom from California, and grew up on country music. So I love country music and I love singing. So I think it was third grade, I got a guitar. My dad bought me a guitar for my birthday or Christmas, and I played it. I took singing lessons, and it was my love for country music. And so when I was playing around in a band, I changed it to Tamilee because it sounds more country, right? Tamilee, then Tamilee. So if you're from the South, you'll say Tamilee. If you're from California, you say Tamilee. But yeah, that's how I got the name. And I just liked it. Instead of just Tammy, I like Tamilee. But it is, people don't know how to spell it. Sometimes, one time I went on QVC and the woman goes, and next up we have Tamalia. I'm like, Tamalia? How'd you get that?
That's funny. I love the whole Tamilee, you singing country music. I used to have a guitar, and we were on a trip recently, and we were driving through the Rocky Mountains, and I was like, wow, Rocky Mountain High. I've got to play John Denver.
Yeah.
So I start playing all these John Denver songs. I'm singing. I'm like singing to I know all the words, all the lyrics. My son is in the back seat. He's going to college in LA. My husband is there, and I'm really getting into this because I used to play it on my guitar, and my husband hasn't seen the side of me. And then pretty soon he says to me, that's enough, John Denver. I did not know he was not. He's a country music fan, but not a huge John Denver fan.
Yeah, especially today's country.
So I was dying laughing I was shocked actually that he did not like John Denver and the whole bit. So we're in the gym. He kind of ticked me off yesterday periodically. And we go on great, but it was just kind of like, And so he's in my gym, and I play John Denver.
This was for you, babe.
And so of course he started busting up laughing. So
that's cute.
So, so I love the fact that you sang country music. Now, did you ever make an album, or was this
no? Well, I actually do. I recorded one song. One of my girlfriends is a fabulous singer, and she's got a band called Atomic Groove, which is a local band around here in San Diego. And they're more like a cover band. So she put together, wrote a song with one of her band members called Woman of Steel. So I have a new podcast. I've only done one episode called It's Steel, about the buns. And the intro to it is part of that song. And the words to it, the words are, I'm a CEO with a BODY and I'm a CEO with a BODY to match. And when it comes to love, and let me tell you something, I'm the best that you ever had. But it talks about inspiring women. And so I wanted that as my lead-in song to my podcast.
That's awesome.
Woman of Steel.
I actually have heard that song.
Did you?
I did my homework and I went and listened to your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Good
So
girl.
I didn't know that was you. I didn't realize that was your song. And that's pretty awesome.
Me and Carrie. But you know what? I realized when I got signed with Warner Brothers, they were connected with Atlantic Records. And I went in and saw some of the people at Atlantic Records. And I realized that the music business is a really difficult business. It's not just that you might sound good. You have to be a whole package.
Oh, yeah.
And Britney Spears is a perfect example of that. I mean, you don't have to be a great singer. And I'm not saying that she's not a great singer, but I'm just saying you've got to have the whole package. You have to have the look. You have to have
charisma.
She had charisma.
And sex appeal and just everything.
Check,
Yeah.
right? And because nowadays we can almost make anybody sound pretty darn good with all the technology that we have.
How you realize that is when you hear somebody live.
Yes.
And they don't sound.
Then in the studio.
You're like,
exactly.
No.
So
you should not be live ever.
I just don't think, when I was in college, it was the night before my orals and I was so stressed out. My girlfriend said, we're taking you out. I'm like, I can't go out. My orals are tomorrow. They're like, look, there's nothing more that you can do. We're going out. And I go, I can't drink. They said, exactly. You're going to drive and we're going to drink. So we went out to this Western bar and we're sitting at the table and there was a band playing and they said, if anybody gets up and sings a song, we'll give you free drinks the rest of the night. And they're like, get up there. I'm like, I'm not drinking. They're like, right, but we are. So I get up and I sing Coal Miner's Daughter. And they said, wow, would you sing another song? And I don't remember what I sang, but I sang another song, went back to the table. And of course, the girls were so happy because they got free drinks. And this guy comes up to me, hands me a card. And he said, I'm the agent to Tiger Bale. And we sing all the warm-up shows to like Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, and anybody in Vegas.
My husband loves Johnny.
And looking for a female vocalist. Would you like to come and audition to the band? I'm thinking, okay, tomorrow I'm moving to San Diego. Do I go that direction? Do I go that direction? And I thought, you know what? I don't want to sing in smoke-filled bars. I don't want to do that. Right. So I don't do it. I come to San Diego. I start my career. And then I'm in Vegas like 12 years later for an idea conference. And they have this talent show and I sang Old Time Rock and Roll. And the next week I get a letter from an agent from Nashville. My wife dragged me to this and I really think that we should talk. And I'm thinking, and this is about when I started with Buns of Steel. I'm like, I can't go that direction now. So I stuck with fitness. That was my gamble. And I think I made the right choice.
Always stuck with, and it's always been there to empower and make me stronger and just basically take me through life to have quality of life. So here I am 55 and I'm doing Spartan races and competing and hiking to the Hollywood sign last week. So
that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. So
well, good. Then we'll see you out more on the West Coast because your son's going to UCLA, right?
He's going to ELA, which is Emerson, right in the heart of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
right.
Congratulations.
Everything down there. He does film. He's a videographer. So
well, that's the place to be.
Yeah, he's excited, let me tell you. I just signed him up at the gym there on Sunset Crunch. And so he's probably there right now working out. So he's carrying on. So, well, you were in this whole gamut and you were doing, Buns of Steel and you were like the fitness ESPN Pro and you gave up the fitness ESPN Pro.
I did. After a year. And the reason is because they wanted me to sign a contract to do videos with them. And I had just started my Buns of Steel stuff. And I thought, okay, if I go there, then I lose my Buns of Steel. And again, it was a choice. It was like, I've always wanted to do television, and now I have it, and now I'm being asked to choose.
Yeah.
And I chose Buns of Steel.
I love the fact that you were such a choice maker. I mean, that was quite a decision to give up one over the other.
It was hard to walk away from that. But knowing, again, it's listening to my intuition of what is the right thing to do. And I got to tell you, not even a month after that, I get a call from Jake, Body by Jake. And he said, hey, I'm doing a new fitness show called Cable Health. And I'd like you to head up the aerobics part of it. So I'm like, wow, okay. And I don't have to give up Buns of Steel or anything. Nope. So I did that. And that's what became Fit TV. So I did Fit TV for an additional 7 years or something. And it was good. It was a good run. It was good. I made the right choices.
Yeah. And so you basically, when you made those decisions, did you just pretty much go with what you were feeling in your heart? Yeah.
Yes. If something doesn't feel right, it is your genius body and mind that is telling you this probably isn't the right thing to do. I call them my peeps. My peeps, I have a team of peeps. You can call them guardian angels. You can call them aliens. You can call, I don't care what you call them, but they're my peeps. They're my team. And I rely on them and say, okay, I just need, give me a sign, give me a feeling, give me something. What is the right decision here? And we always kind of already know. And the reason I made some bad choices, and as I was making them, it was like they were just yelling at me, don't do this. And I did it, and it turned out not to my best interest.
You got to go 100% with your gut.
So you have to listen.
I think, yeah.
So now I listen.
I love that. Listen to your gut. Listen to your body, right? You also have to listen to your body at every age.
There's a lot of things you got to listen to. Your body's going to tell you a lot. Listen to what, all of a sudden you're thinking of something like, God, what do I do? And then a song comes on and it's like, there's your message. Or you go by and you see a billboard. There's your message. Or a friend calls you out of the blue and says, da-da-da, and you're like, oh my God, that's the message.
Oh,
I mean, because you don't get those messages like, I'm telling you, do this. They're subtle messages. So yeah, listen.
You have to
listen
be
and
tuned
follow your
in.
heart.
And you can't be tuned in if you're so distracted by every social media platform out there. You've got to tune out so you can tune inwards.
And tune it. Yes. That's very well said, Linda.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
Good
so
job.
I know there's something a lot of people probably don't realize about you. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about back when you were 14 and your father passed, and here you end up being 16 on your own. What was that whole experience like, and how did you come through that?
I think that really set the path to where I am today. I was the only girl out of three, and my father, I adored my father, and my father adored me, of course, and not saying that he didn't love my brothers, but when you're the only girl, and I just got everything from him. Just like everything that I learned came from him. It seemed like that way at the time. And he was my whole light. And I think if he had lived, so he was 37 and I was 14 when he passed, is that I would have stayed near. I would have stayed, I think, home near him, where I needed to grow. I needed to fly. I needed to be. And as I even go back to see my family, because they still live in Northern California, I love them dearly, but we are so different. And there's a reason why I live where I live. I don't like drama. I'm a drama-free girl.
No, definitely.
I don't know. And I love Southern California. And, but it was very traumatic. My mom had me when she was 16. So it was one of those dynamics where my mom didn't know what to do. So she remarried right away because she was 32, had 3 kids and didn't know what to do. And I wasn't happy. And so I went to live with an aunt for a year or two. And then I was left and went to college and kind of been on my own, but I just keep remembering the things that I learned from my dad. And he said, he would call me Sweetie Bug. That's my nickname. He goes, Sweetie Bug, there is nothing that you can't do in this world. Nothing. As long as you get an education, it'll be a lot easier for you. So I don't even care if you decide you want to clean toilets. I'm thinking, clean toilets? Okay. But be the best at it that you can be. So I think the message for that is, even though you want this, but you're here right now, be the best at here now. Be in the now and be the best. Knowing that this is where you want to go, but you can't go there until you're the best here right now.
That's such a great message.
Then you can take another step.
That's such a great message. I love that. Now, carrying this forward to where you are now, what pushes you forward and keeps you motivated?
I think it is where I'm at right now is I need to, so if you could see around, I have 3 children. They're furry children. So my little girl that's a rescue Shih Tzu who has 1 eye and 3 legs motivates me constantly. Like I look at her and I'm like, there's nothing I can't do if you can do that. And then her name is Isabella Cinderella. And then I have a kitty and her name is Kitty Gaga. She's a rescue. And then I have another dog, Bruno Mars. No, they don't sing.
Oh, I love Bruno.
But they keep me going. I have a great man in my life. He inspires me, and other people inspire me. So for instance, I love doing podcasts and doing events or doing anything, collaborating with women like yourself. Men, women, it doesn't matter. As long as it's bettering myself, the individual, the group that we're trying to inspire. And so I get a lot of inspiration from that. But I am in this transition of, because people keep asking, are you ever going to do another video? We'll never say never, but I'm putting together a workshop with 2 friends of mine. We call it the Power of 3, which is mind, body, and spirit. And my part of that is the body. We've got to get beyond the body. We are so much more than the body. Now, it's not to say we can't take care of our body, because we know we need to take care of our body. But wow, if we can align all of that up, you're so much more powerful, so much more of a genius than just going, no, I'm just going to work out, I'm going to eat right, and that's me. Because a lot of people, and I bet you see this, Linda, they look great from the outside, but they're so broken from the inside. So broken. Oh,
right. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, because they're not working on that part of themselves.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do, is inspire others through getting an alignment with those 3, and knowing that what you say, your words. So I have this thing on my podcast, I call it delete and rephrase. So when somebody says, oh, I hate my thighs, I go, okay, delete that and let's rephrase it. I love my thighs. My thighs get me from here to the refrigerator. My thighs takes me on this beautiful walk out in nature. My thighs, because if you keep sending it negative energy, what are you only going to see? Negative. Right. So you've got to rephrase it. I told that to a friend of mine, and she called me a month later and she said, oh my God, I've been using this on my daughter who's 9 or 10. And she goes, we do it all the time now. And now she's doing it to her friends so that they're not saying anything negative about themselves. They'll say, delete, let's rephrase that. And I think that's pretty cool.
I do that same thing in my studio, the Chick Fit studio. I make them reword, but I like the whole delete, rephrase, and say it in a different way, because I really believe your words are powerful and you listen to yourself the most. So whatever you're saying to yourself, you need to be 10 times more careful about, because you're listening to what you say the most.
You're the only one that's controlling this. I mean, you're listening to yourself, but words being powerful. What I learned a lot through Buns of Steel was, if I wasn't over kind to someone, they would say, oh, well, she was a bitch. She wasn't. And I'm thinking, what? Because that is not my MO. But like, if you didn't, you just have to really pay attention. People drink in what you say to them. So that's why, like, if I go to the grocery store and I see the clerk and she's just like, blah, blah, it's like, I want to say something that's genuine. I don't want to feed her BS or him, but, you know, I want to say something kind, because obviously they haven't had anything kind to them said. Let's break up this, you know, just day-to-day routine. You must know this. We think over about 60 million thoughts a day, and about 70% of those are the same thoughts as we had the day before. And we need to change it. You need to inspire yourself.
You gotta rewire.
You have to constantly rewiring yourself. Yeah.
And a lot of that is, if you are a big TV watcher or a big social media follower, you're taking in garbage sometimes. You need to also watch what you're taking in, garbage in, garbage out. You have to watch what you're putting in your mind. If you want to rewire it, you should feed it with things that are positive and uplifting, that build you up. And also people, right? People that build you up.
Sorry, I just lost you.
I know, I just
lost you. Hold on.
Hey, we were just checking to see if our audience is awake out there. We thought Tamilee Lee's doing a backflip over there.
Sorry about that. I got caught up in my wires.
Hey, it was exciting.
So yeah, when we watch television, it's like my boyfriend wanted to watch Aliens, and I'm like, I'm not watching that before bed. Like, I don't watch news before bed. I put myself more in a Zen mood before I go to bed. So he wanted to watch this during the day. Like, can I watch it? Can we watch it? I'm like, okay. But I always put like an armor around me, a bubble. And things that come in, it's like I have to delete it. Because if I don't, one night I remember, for some reason I was watching the news, and on every news station they said we're talking about the hacking of the FBI or something. I'm like, what? How can that be the FBI? The next morning I woke up and I was hacked, and it took me 2 weeks, and I had to call the cops. They were threatening me for money, and it was like, I realized my body just sucks that stuff up. So when I'm going somewhere,
I feel like I'm a channel sometimes.
Right. And I have to go, okay, wait a minute. I got to put an armor around me. And if I hear something in my head and I don't want to say it out loud, I just go delete. I'm deleting that. It's not in my aura at all. So yeah, it is one of those things that you have to be careful, is talking to yourself.
Oh my gosh, I know. And you'll think, I haven't seen, this happens to me quite frequently. I haven't seen this person forever. And then I'll think about them, and then I'll see them. This has happened to me 3 times already this month. And I'm like, wow.
Powerful. See, genius.
Well, I really do believe our bodies are wonderfully made, and I'm just in awe at all of the functions that they do. I'm taking a hormone course through my school, the Integrative School of Nutrition, IIN, in New York City, and so I'll be able to help my peeps balance their hormones. And
that's great.
What is really exciting is just all this information. I'm like, whoa, it's just making me in awe of the human body. All these messages that this hormone sends, that this receptor cell receives. I'm just like, that's why I think it's so important that you treat your body like a temple, and what you're putting in your body is worthy of your body.
Yes. Yeah. And food, to me, it's like food is medicine. Good foods that are rich in what they're meant to be is our medicine. But there's so much stuff out there that's not. So Linda, when you get done with that course, you've got to come on my podcast, and we've got to talk about this, because there's some things that I'm in the middle of right now that I will be talking about later, that I will share. I can't do it right now, but this will coordinates with it. So I hope that you'll be a guest on my podcast and share that information.
I would love to. This is like a subject that I've been working on.
And then you'll teach me how to do the Zoom so we can do it.
Oh, absolutely. I'll help you 100%. You can teach me how to have buns of steel. I'm sure,
Well,
I'm sure
I'm sure you have them.
I work on it. I work on it. I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about just the whole idea of your buns being like steel. I'm just like that. Just
Well, they're
that.
not. They're not.
Well, anyway, I love the whole subject of hormones. So I am in the process of writing another book, and so it's going to be all encompassing to help women when they hit this stage, so that they don't feel so lost, because many times it's a topic that people don't want to talk about when they're going through it. They're like freaked out. They're like, WTF is happening to my body, and like, what's going on with me and my hormones, and I'm crying like a 13-year-old. And so I really want to help women with this transition as myself too.
Good.
Because I feel like it's so underdone, especially on the emotional side of it, but just the whole like information, I think there needs to be so much more, and so much more of a discussion about it, so women don't feel so alone out there.
Yeah. Well, because they don't really approach it until you're in the middle of it, and then it's like, oh,
and then they're like, what?
Yeah. And I think in the past we've just gone to like our mothers or older sisters or whatever. And women do go to women for this information. And I think it needs to be said in various ways, and find your journey along the way. Something's going to click and it goes, that's it. That clicks. I'm going to try this. And so I think it's just awesome what you're doing. Good job.
Well, thank you so much. And I always like to ask my guests for 3 simple truths that they can give to the listeners.
Truths. And
it can be even funny.
Funny. Okay, the first one that comes up is if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plan. But everybody needs to have some plan. So one of the other things I like to say is take care of your body, and your body will take care of you.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, take care of your body, and your body will take care of you. But the other thing is, when you pass, nobody's talking about how many videos you sold, or how many of this you did, or how famous you were. They will remember you of how you made them feel when you were in their presence.
Yeah, they may remember your buns of steel, but that's probably going to be secondary.
Yeah,
to
it's really about how you interacted with that person. How did you make them feel at that time?
Wow, I really want to acknowledge you for everything that you have brought to the fitness industry, for just living your truth, listening to your gut, being a role model to all of us women out there at any age. And just one of the things I want to really acknowledge you for, that really struck me about you, is your warmth and your kindness.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that a lot, Linda. I'm honored that you had me on your show. So thank you for those kind words.
You are an icon. That is why I chose you to be a hero on my health series. So you are one of the biggest heroes of health. And I thank you, and from the bottom of my heart, for coming on the show. And where can people reach you on social media?
I have Facebook, and you'll find a lot of them there. But the fitness one is Tamilee Webb Fitness. That's the fitness related one. I have another one that's just Tamilee Webb public figure, and that's going to be more of my lectures, my spiritual side, my motivation, which is still different than the fitness. So, or at TamileeWebb.com.
Which is a beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, you guys, check out her DVDs, her books. And if you really love this podcast, check out Tamilee's podcast on iTunes. It's Steel.
It's Steel About the Buns.
There you go. And let us know how much you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so
And
much
share
for
it.
listening to the Sisterhood of Sweat. And in the words of the great Ulene, keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Yeah.